You read the title. The rest of the NBA should be terrified of the Golden State Warriors. Not only did the Dubs win last year's title while avoiding a Game 7 in every playoff series, but they should be even better next year. On the surface, the Warriors were weekended free agency because they lost many key role players. Guys like Gary Payton II, Otto Porter Jr., and Nemanja Bjelica will all play for different teams next year. But the Warriors have a strong young core that'll be able to step up and replace those guys. So in this video, let's break down why the rest of the NBA should be terrified of Golden State. But before we continue, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you enjoy the content, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. The first reason the NBA should be terrified of the Warriors is because Steph Curry is very much still at the top of his game. And he proved this on the biggest stage in the finals when he put together a series for the ages. In last year's finals, Steph averaged 31.6 boards and 5 assists per game on 48% shooting from the field and 43% from 3. His best performance in this series was a 43-point and 10-rebound game in Game 3. And this performance was done with the Warriors back to the wall, being down 1-2 and potentially facing a 1-3 deficit. It was also a game after the 6'10" Al Horford had landed on Steph Curry's foot, re-aggravating his foot injury that caused him to miss months of playing time during the regular season. But Steph is as mentally tough as they come and willed his team the victory. The scary thing is Steph is showing no signs of decline despite getting up there in years now. Despite being 34 years old and having played 13 years in the league, Steph is still one of the top superstars. Thanks to the fact that he keeps himself in tremendous shape and has a great work ethic, Steph continues to stay elite despite being old by NBA standards. With other superstars like LeBron and Chris Paul dominating in their late 30s, it's not unreasonable to think that Steph could continue to play at this level for the next 5 years. Scottie Pippen even thinks that Steph can play in his 50s. Now we have to talk about the second splash brother, Klay Thompson. The Warriors still won the championship last season, despite Klay clearly not being at the top of his game. In the finals, Klay averaged just 17 points and 5 boards a game on 35% shooting from the field and 35% from 3. There's no question that Klay put up an absolute stinker in the finals, but he's also just a year removed from missing 2 straight seasons with back-to-back brutal leg injuries. Klay tore his ACL back in the 2019 finals, and right before returning to the court, he suffered a torn Achilles. This is absolutely devastating, but like Steph, Klay is also mentally tough as they come, and he still played well this season after he returned to the court, averaging 20 points per game on 43% shooting from the field and 38% from 3. He played well in the playoffs too, he just had a really bad final series. With a full season post-injury under his belt, Klay will look more like his old self next season. The scary thing is that the Warriors proved last year that they're so good that they didn't need Klay to shoot well in the finals to win the title. When Klay regains his shooting prowess and sustains it in the NBA Finals, this will make the Warriors' offense even deadlier. And Klay at his best is also one of the best defenders in the league. Back in 2019, Klay was on the All-NBA defensive team, and he was the guy that was regularly given the job of guarding the other team's best player. He took a huge step back defensively this year, but again, that's to be expected for someone who missed so much time on the court. Once he gains his defensive prowess back, that makes the Warriors defense even more deadly because you're adding another great defender to a team that was number 2 in defensive rating last season. Now it's time to discuss the return of James Wiseman. After having an up and down rookie season, Wiseman missed all of last season with a knee injury. Wiseman did briefly return to the G League, but had to shut it down after re-aggravating his knee injury. But Wiseman did play 4 games in the Summer League, averaging 10 points, 5 boards, and 2 blocks per game in just 19 minutes. It's just Summer League, but it's great to see Wiseman healthy and back on the court after missing so much time with injury. With Wiseman back, the Warriors will be much better on both ends of the court. On the offensive end, Wiseman gives the Warriors something they haven't had in years, and that's an elite lob catching center. Wiseman is 7 feet tall with a 7'6" wingspan, and he's a terrific leaper, making him a great lob target. With Wiseman back in the fold, the Warriors' pick and roll game will be even deadlier. Just imagine the 2-man game between Steph Curry and James Wiseman. Opposing defenses will be in scrambles. Steph draws tons of defensive attention because he's the greatest shooter ever, which will lead to Wiseman getting wide open dunk after dunk. Draymond Green will also set Wiseman up for alley-oops on the short roll as well. With the shooting and passing on the Warriors, Wiseman will be one of the best roll man finishers in the league next season, which will add another dimension to the Dubs offense. And Wiseman will also boost the Warriors defense by being a rim protecting presence. Thanks to his size and length, Wiseman is a good shot blocker, but he needs to improve his defensive IQ in order to have the type of defensive impact he should have. Luckily, he plays next to two veterans like Draymond Green and Kevon Looney, who've given him plenty of tips on how to be a better defensive big man. Wiseman still needs to learn how to stay out of foul trouble and master the Dubs' defensive schemes, but once he does this, the Warriors' defense, which was already great last year, will be absolutely savage next season. Maple Jordan gives the Warriors a luxury that most contending teams envy: an elite wing stopper that's also a great offensive threat. He's one of the rare wing defenders in the league that can slow down the other team's best player, even if they're a legit superstar. In last year's playoffs, the Warriors put Wiggins on Luka in the conference finals and Jason Tatum in the finals, and he did a great job of containing them. And while defending those guys, he also scored the ball very well and rebounded the ball like nobody's business. His biggest standout performance was a 26-point, 13-rebound game in Game 5 of the finals, which helped the Dubs survive a poor shooting night from Steph. Having Wiggins on the team for the foreseeable future gives the Warriors a very long championship window. We also have to talk about Kevon Looney. Looney is probably the biggest unsung hero on the Warriors. He doesn't put up eye-popping stats by any means, but if you ask anyone on the Dubs, they'll tell you he has a huge impact on winning. He's a great defender that can not only protect the rim, but also switch and hold his own against perimeter players. And despite being just 6'9", he's a good rebounder, and he proved this with a monster 22 rebound game and a closeout game against the Grizzlies. Between Looney and Wiseman, the Warriors center rotation next year will be excellent. Another unsung hero of the Warriors' success is Draymond Green. His tone-setting defense, leadership, and passing makes the Warriors a much better team. His ability to block shots at a high level, defend multiple positions, and rebound make him arguably the best defensive player in the league. And while he's not a good scorer by any means, his pinpoint passing is a huge part of the Warriors' offense. Draymond Green doesn't average a lot of points or get the most headlines, but he's been one of the main reasons the Warriors are easily the best team in the league. Last season, a third Splash brother emerged in Jordan Poole, and at just 23 years old, expect him to be even better next year. Last season, Poole averaged 18 points and 4 assists per game and was a top 4 most improved player of the year candidate. For much of the year, Poole was coming off the bench, but he really showed his star potential when Steph went down with his foot injury, because Poole stepped up and averaged 25 points per game in the 20 games that Steph missed due to injury. Like Steph, Poole is a lights-out shooter that's in his range the second he steps on the court, and he's also very fast and can get to the rim at will and finish strong. Poole is a future all-star, and as he continues to improve, this will only make the Warriors even better. Next season, expect Jonathan Kuminga to step up and have a big impact. The Warriors did lose some key wing players in Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton II, but Kuminga will help to make up for the loss of those veterans. For those who don't know, Kuminga is a physical specimen. He's 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan, a chiseled 225-pound frame, and with great speed and athleticism. He could get by his defenders at ease and finish with powerful jams at the rim, and on the defensive end, his size and length make him a very good defender. Next season, I would expect Kuminga's minutes to go up to about 25 minutes per game. His presence allows the Warriors to have another great perimeter defender that they could use to slow down the other team's best player. And I would expect Kerr to experiment with some lineups where he uses Kuminga as a small ball 5. And with his strength, power, and explosion, expect him to get tons of easy baskets off lobs from Steph and Draymond. Kuminga's rise will undoubtedly be a huge factor next season. Another second-year player that will have a big impact is Moses Moody. Moody is another guy that will benefit from the departure of the veterans because the Warriors will need him to play a much bigger role next season. He's got potential to be great on both ends of the floor. Moody has really good size for a wing player at 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan. Those physical tools make him capable of defending multiple positions, and on the offensive end, he's not only a knockdown shooter, but he's shown in flashes that he could put the ball on the floor and score at the rim. Back in March, Moody became the youngest Warrior ever to score 30 points at just 19 years old, showing the ability to not only drain threes but put the ball on the deck and attack the basket. Moody's leap will also be a huge factor for the Warriors next season. Overall, the Warriors should be the favorite for next year's championship. Injuries could prevent the Dubs from repeating, but the Warriors still have a strong second unit, which should allow them to keep the minutes of their core players down and which should help to keep them fresh for the playoffs. But anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Do you think the Warriors will win the 2023 championship? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button and click this video to see why the Warriors' young talent looked scary in Summer League.